My name is Natalie Jensen, and just under a month ago, the life I thought I had under control crumbled, spectacularly and without warning. I'm 29, and until recently, I lived a life that many would envy. A beautiful home in the suburbs, a husband who wore perfection like a tailored suit, and a future we'd supposedly built together. Then one evening my husband, Lucas handed me a manila envelope. Inside, divorce papers. No argument. No warning. Just his signature and a post-it note that read, "You lied by omission. We're done." I stared at those words, my heart in my throat, thinking what lie. It wasn't until later that I realized. He didn't leave because of what I did recently. He left because of who I used to be. Lucas and I met 9 years ago at a mutual friend's engagement party. He was charming, intelligent, effortlessly composed. He made me feel seen in a way no one had before. We dated for 3 years, married for 6. He's a cardiovascular surgeon, brilliant and dedicated. I work in cybersecurity, a solid career, though his income dwarfed mine. He insisted on covering the mortgage, vacations, most bills. At the time it felt generous. Looking back, it was a dynamic that gave him control. Financially, emotionally, even socially. To the outside world we were the dream couple. People called us balanced. His poise, my energy. But behind the Instagram smiles and holiday cards, the balance was always tilted toward him. Lucas was never overtly controlling, but his boundaries were always sharper than mine. He expected updates, frequent texts, location check-ins, who I was with and for how long. If I asked the same, he'd smirk and say, "Don't be insecure, Nat." I convinced myself he was just particular. Disciplined, not domineering. We rarely talked about the past. He said it was unnecessary, that what matters is the people we are now. I agreed, relieved to keep my early 20s buried. The drinking, the parties, the mistakes, I thought it was irrelevant. I assumed we had the same understanding. I was wrong. 3 weeks ago, we attended a wedding for one of Lucas's colleagues. An elegant, over-the-top event at a historic vineyard estate. I wore a pale blue dress he'd chosen. I played the doting wife. He played the aloof guest, disengaged and cold the entire evening. During the reception, a nostalgic video montage began. Old college clips from the bride and groom's undergrad days. Laughter rippled through the room as everyone watched harmless footage of bad haircuts and dorm parties. Then it happened. A clip popped up that froze the room mid-laugh. There I was, 20, tipsy, and draped across a couch in a dim frat house living room, sloppily making out with 2 guys. I barely remembered the night, let alone the clip. My stomach dropped. I hadn't even known it existed. Lucas didn't say a word. He just stared, expression unreadable, eyes hard. When the video changed, the room exhaled awkwardly. I felt exposed, humiliated. But I had no idea how much worse it was going to get. On the drive home he was silent. Not angry. Not emotional. Just silent in a way that felt terminal. That night, in our bedroom, he finally turned to me with eyes that looked through me. "How many other things have you never told me? Who were those guys? How could you not think this mattered?" I tried to explain. I told him it was college. One stupid night a decade ago. It wasn't a secret, just irrelevant. Everyone has a past. But he didn't see it that way. To Lucas, it wasn't about the video. It was about the version of me he had built in his mind, the one who didn't do things like that. And now, that illusion had shattered. He demanded details. Numbers, names, stories I hadn't thought about in years. When I couldn't give him the answers he wanted, he saw it as deceit. The weeks that followed were a quiet hell. He withdrew. No conversations. No affection. Just silence and avoidance. He scrutinized everything. My texts, my calendar, my bank statements. He stopped sleeping in our bed. Moved to the guest room and locked the door. He stalked my digital past. I saw browser tabs for divorce attorneys, Reddit threads titled Wife hid promiscuous past. What would you do? Asterisk. I suggested therapy. He said it was pointless. I asked if he still loved me. He said asterisk, I don't know who you are. Asterisk. And then one Thursday afternoon, a courier knocked at my office door and handed me a padded envelope. Inside, divorce documents and a typed letter that read asterisk, you've always had the right to your choices. I have the right to mine. Asterisk. 8 years over in 8 pages. I lost more than a husband. Asterisk our shared home asterisk sold. I moved into a 1-bedroom apartment near downtown. Asterisk our social circle asterisk gone. Friends took sides, mostly his. Asterisk my emotional stability asterisk eroded. I replayed that video over and over in my head, as if scrubbing it from memory would undo the damage. Lucas meanwhile flourished. He was promoted. He started dating a younger anesthesiologist 6 weeks after filing. I only knew because someone tagged him in a vacation photo. He looked happy, free. At 29, I'm starting over not because I betrayed him, not because I was unfaithful, but because I wasn't who he imagined I was. Lucas didn't love me. He loved the idea of me. When that illusion cracked, he walked. No effort to repair. No questions about who I am now. Just judgment over who I was before him. The truth is, I didn't lie. I omitted like most people do when they fall in love. We edit ourselves. We lead with our best. But that doesn't mean our past ceases to exist. It just means we hope we'll be loved enough to be seen fully, and still chosen. This isn't just a story about a ruined marriage. It's about what happens when love is conditional, when your worth is measured by someone else's impossible standards. If a decade-old video can unravel 8 years of life together, then maybe that life wasn't built to last. Maybe Lucas was always waiting for a reason to leave. Maybe I was just the placeholder until reality set in. And maybe, just maybe, this was the best thing that could have happened because now I get to rebuild as my whole self. No edits. No omissions. Just Natalie, flawed, honest, and finally free.